And I am excited to come here and do a live training on something that I feel like way too many people just kind of skip over. And I understand why we skip over it, because it is a hard sell. It's not as easy and sexy as the first part, which is what a ton of people really get right in business. And so I get that it's inconvenient. I get that this is a topic that isn't like a welcome, really convenient truth, but it is still something that I think is really exciting to cover. And I just want to kind of dig into this whole idea of surrendering your goals, particularly your business goals, but really it works on any goal. And I want to have a conversation about surrendering your goals and the two parts of effective surrendering, right? There's two parts, and what we always cover is just the first part, the surrendering as done, right? And so you have like Surrender Sally or Manifestation Mary or whatever, right? And you talk about your goals, especially the heavy goals, the really heavy goals, the ones that weigh on you the most, the ones that you really, really want so bad you can taste it, the goals that you wonder, perhaps secretly you wonder, is this ever gonna happen? Like, is it really gonna happen for me? Not like in the quantum sense, is it gonna happen? And not in the, I know it's done one day kind of thing, or I know it's possible, but the goals that we really are wondering if it's ever going to actually happen on this side of heaven for me in my lifetime, right? And these are the goals that really weigh on us as women, as entrepreneurs in general, as people in general, right? And so these are the goals that I want to talk about, because the Surrender Sallys and the Manifestation Marys, like, they will remind you to surrender the goal as done. And they're right? There's a whole lot of peace and power to energetically surrendering, right? So surrendering the intention of whatever it is that you're going after. There's a lot of power there. And so they're right, but there's also so much more to it. There's an energetic and a practical side to surrendering. I just want to go on our Facebook page, and I want to put in, because I actually just wrote an article about this, and I wanted to put a little comment if I can find it. I want to put a comment to the article, because I think that might have some people who, let's see, I'll put a little comment there so that you can read that later at your leisure. So I do want to so I want to talk about both the energetic and the practical side of surrendering, right? I want to go deeper, because the first part of surrendering, I totally get. I don't want to take anything away from it, right? It's absolutely something that we can and should be focusing on. It is a first step. It is the surrendering energetically, surrendering kind of intentionally, giving our goals to God, giving up the anxiety and the stress of wondering if it's ever going to happen. What if it never happens? That anxiety and stress. What if it doesn't happen in time? And all of these little things that kind of come along with our heaviest goals, the goals that we constantly think about. So surrendering energetically, and also like knowing, right? Knowing that you're okay, you're worthy, you're loved, you're safe, regardless of whether or not that goal happens for you, right? Like, that is part of the surrender, that knowing that this is what I'm going after and this is what I feel like is aligned for me, but also, God, I know that I'm okay regardless, that I don't need any of this stuff. And so to me, it's like that surrender, that detachment, that not bearing down on your goals to where you are so pent up that you can't see your way through to creating the goals, to making them happen, right? So that is huge. That's a huge part of it. But there's a practical side of surrender that's also important. I would say even more important. And Surrender Sally and Manifestation Mary, they don't ever get to this part. They never get to the second part of surrender. So energetically, you give up, right? You give it to God, you give up, like, listen, here's what I'm after. Take it. I am not the God of how. You are the God of how. Just take it, right? Like, so energetically, you kind of give up. You throw up your hands and you surrender. But practically, the practical side of that coin is you give in. Finally, you give in. You give in and you do the work that your goal requires of you. Practically, you give in and give it all you have. So energetically, you surrender and you give up and you're like, you know what? This is what I want. And I just trust that I'm going to get this or something better. And I'm just going to release the stress and the anxiety that's associated with this goal, right? That's the energetic part. The practical part of it is I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give up to you, and then I'm going to give in, and I'm going to finally do the work that this goal would require of me if I were serious about bringing it to life, right? So practically, that practical side of the surrender coin is you give in and you give it all you have. It's a give in and go kind of mentality. So what does go look like for you? Because this is true surrender. This is the ease of surrender, where you can surrender the anxiety and the stress and the pressure and all of that, but you also surrender all of your excuses, all of your procrastination, all of your reasons why not, right? Because if you are really going to go after a goal and you're going to surrender it, then you've also got to do your part, right? Because you don't want to keep planning and journaling and writing and all of this without showing up to do your part. It's I don't know, it's weird. It's weird to think that way, right? Like, I can't just say, like, I'm going to surrender my health and then, know that I'm eating constant sugar and smoking cigarettes. And, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just weird. We have to do our part, even in and especially in manifesting huge goals. And so what does giving in look like for you today, right? Because sometimes I feel like these goals are heavy, not necessarily because of how long we carried them and not because of how hard it's going to be to achieve. We often get that mixed up. We often think that we've got such huge goals, it's going to be hard and long and uphill both ways to achieve it. And that's not the case, right? It doesn't have to be the case. That's part of the energetic surrender, where you can kind of surrender the how. It's like, I'm open to however this comes into play. But sometimes I feel like it gets heavy because we haven't given in to doing our part. The goal is weighing on us, pressing on us, pushing down. So, Sophie, get out of there. Pushing down so that it's like, when are you going to show up, Michelle? Pushing down, weighing down to say, I'm still here. I'm your goal. I'm what you said. I'm what you put on your vision board. Are you going to do the work yet? Right? Have you given in finally? And like, I don't know about you, but for goals that I've kind of held like at a distance for a long time, I finally get to like that cry uncle moment where I'm like, fine, I'll do the work, right? Like, I'm done carrying it as like this one day goal. I'll do the work today. So when you are surrendering energetically, that's one part. Go the extra step, surrender physically, and finally give in to the goal itself. Give in and let the goal know, fine, I'll do the work. I'll do what you require of me, right? Because the point is, you ever feel like your goal might be so heavy and so elusive because it's been pressing in on you and you have refused to show up daily to make that goal a reality, right? We have to do our part. So what does going all in mean for you today when you consider your goal as maybe waiting on you, right? We often think of us waiting on our goals, and it's like, maybe that goal is waiting on me, right? Maybe that goal is waiting on me. So what is your heaviest goal requiring of you today? Beyond an energetic or intentional surrender, I'm asking, what is it requiring of you to do today? I'm not talking about like a 5-year plan. Planning keeps us from acting, right? Planning feels good. It feels like we're really effective. It feels like we're really being wise. We're planning our budgets. We're planning our advertising budget. We're planning our marketing for 5 years in advance, whoever does that. But I'm not talking about a 5-year plan. Frankly, I'm talking about a today's action. What does your heaviest goal require in you? We cannot keep thinking that we're waiting on our goals to happen. We've got to begin thinking about it being the opposite. maybe our goals are waiting for us to happen, where our goals are waiting for us to step into the reality where these goals are kind of just a natural way of doing business or living or what have you. So, and also one other question, I guess, before I close is, what goal do you have, does anyone have, that wouldn't be brought to fruition with a daily applied surrender, right? A daily applied surrender and stepping into being whatever your goal requires you to be, right? Because a lot of times we have these visions and these goals, but the big win isn't the amount of money we make at the end or the bestseller status or whatever. At the end, the goal is really bringing us into a new way of being, right? The goal is really getting us to step into our potential. The goal is really getting us to just give in and be like, fine, I'll do it. I'm done procrastinating. I'm done making excuses. I'm done pretending I'm being wise or I want to grow slow. I'm done with all that, right? So, what is your goal, your biggest goal, your heaviest goal, the one that's been weighing on you? What is it requiring of you today? And what goal do you have that wouldn't be brought to fruition by a daily applied surrender? Meaning, I've given in, I've cried uncle, I'm not just gonna wait for the goal. I know my goals are waiting on me to take action. Second side of the coin. You see how it's inconvenient, right? Because the first side is surrender, it is done. It's done in the energetic sense, right? The flip side of that is practical. The flip side is, what's that goal waiting on me to do, right? Anyway, a different way of looking at it. I would love to hear from you guys. I did put a little link in there if you wanted to check that out. I wrote about the practical side of surrender, and I think it's one of my best articles, right? It's very practical, and it was a changing part of my business journey when I stopped waiting on my goals to like happen, right? Leading kind of a happening life, like what would happen to me. And I started just giving in and doing the work and showing up as the person who really would make these things happen. So I appreciate you guys watching live. I appreciate you watching the replay. And I just am excited to be part of you practically bringing your goals into fruition. I love hearing stories of you guys doubling your income, tripling your income, doubling your audience. I love to hear you achieving your goals. So please share your successes with me. And if you have any questions about this or about business or branding or about Women Who Wow, definitely message me m.me/Women Who Wow, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.